Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons in context to Candela Obscura. Let's jump into this. So, today what I want to talk about with Candela Obscura is the Woes of John Harper. Oh, it's bad. It is bad. So, John Harper created one of the best tabletop role-playing games that was ever written. It's called Blades in the Dark, and the reality is, what it is it's a true, pillar. It's a pillar in tabletop role-playing games. It's a foundation stone. And a lot has been built on it. There are literally probably 50 to 100 games that have been written, which are forged in the dark. Scum and Villainy is forged in the dark. So Blades in the Dark is an unbelievably good Victorian occult tabletop role-playing game, the best one that's ever been written. Why is it special? Well, its setting is really beautiful and unique. Its rules are really beautiful and unique. And the reality is, many of its rules, I would even say as much as 40% of its rules are better than what you will find in Dungeons & Dragons, right? Dungeons & Dragons rule set. It is brilliant and innovative and fresh and unique and new, right? Wow. So let me explain something. Candela Obscura is Walmart coming to your town and putting the mom and pop out of business. That's exactly what's happening on Candela Obscura, in my humble opinion. You think I'm wrong? I'm telling you right now, Candela Obscura, the setting, the rules, the feel, the graphics on the character sheet, the way the entire book is laid out, every single thing of this is this is a reversed engineer copy of Candela Obscura. Is a very high energy reverse engineering of John Harper's Blades in the Dark, and just presented with Matthew Mercer's name on it, right? Like Critical Role's name on it, right? Now, and what I mean by name on it, right? I don't think his name is literally listed in the book, but it's the only reason anybody cares about Candela Obscura, and because Matthew Mercer is Dungeon Mastering Chapter 1, people didn't look it up and think he's going to do the same thing he did for Critical Role and just do this and DM this whole thing, which is not the case. He's just a tap on the front, right? And they just needed to attach his name. And Matthew Mercer is a rock star. He's a rock star in voice acting. He's a rock star in video games. He's a rock star in animated big and small screen material. He is a rock star, bar none, right? And even Critical Role, Ashley Johnson just came out of The Last of Us, real Hollywood energy on Critical Role, right? So, but this, in my humble opinion, the woes of John Harper are intense, right? That poor guy worked very hard to create Blades in the Dark, and the tabletop role-playing game took notice. The community took notice. Candela Obscura, the regular world takes notice. The mainstream world takes notice. And Candela Obscura is simply Blades in the Dark with just completely redrawn by Critical Role. And John Harper's got to be grinding his teeth in his sleep every single night, right? It's just because it's so bad, right? And you're like, Scott, it's not that much like it. Dude, the dude who actually wrote Illuminated Worlds Rules literally wrote Bands in the Dark. It's called Bands. I think it was called Bands of War, and it's literally a forged in the dark game. So if you're oh, I don't know, Scott, you think it's a copy? Yeah, the dude they hired literally already produced a high production value copy of Blades in the Dark. It's a forged in the dark game, right? It's called Bands in the Dark. I've actually I got the chance to sit down with the book, and I did a full sweep through the entire book at PAX Unplugged, which is they have a tabletop role-playing game library. If you ever get a chance, it is beautiful. They have literally every super cool TTRPG book you'll ever want to see. You can just sit down and read through, right? And so I never got a chance to play Stras's game. But Critical Role literally hired the guy who's already done a massive copy of Blades in the Dark, and in my humble opinion, there was a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hey, can you do that for us? Can you just copy the game for us, and let's pull the Forged in the Dark part off? Maybe throw in 1 or 2 cool rules. Now, there's nothing legal. And that's the problem, right? You cannot copyright genre. You cannot copyright theme, right? The theme is occult Victorian, right? You can't copyright rules. So Critical Role broke no laws, in my humble opinion, right? It's just, I just don't understand. If you wanted the dude, like, if you are Critical Role, you could have called John Harper. And I think it's terribly unfair, and it's sad-making. It is truly sad-making that, like, and this is one of the reasons why I roll so hard against the OSR, is I despise copy energy so much, right? Like, and it's, if you make this great thing and then somebody just comes back and reverse engineers it's heartbreaking, right? It's legal, but it's heartbreaking. And I feel really bad for John Harper right now. But I will tell you, I'm very, very interested, because I am super interested in John Harper's mechanics with exposure, with people. If I say Candela Obscura, people care. If I say Blades in the Dark, and I said Blades in the Dark to my group. One dude, 3 months after I said it, was like, to one of my groups, 3 months after I said it, was like, we could play that game you want to play? And I'm like, dude, man, like, no one was excited, because nobody knew who John Harper was. Nobody knew what Blades in the Dark was. People know what Candela Obscura. This is Blades in the Dark with exposure, right? There's talent and there's exposure, and Critical Role has both. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.